Hey, Blondeguygamer here, and I'm finally going to review a Wii game after all this time. And it's going to be something that's pretty special. It's Muramasa, the Demon Blade for the... One sec. What are you doing here? You okay, man? You haven't been indicating Smarties, have you?
So what do you think?
What?
Well, can I do the review with you?
Okay, sure.
Awesome! Dibs on the bed!
Hey guys, guess what? SCR is here, and we're actually going to review...
Muramasa, the Demon Blade.
Yes, it's a game that's actually made by Vanillaware, who also made Rivermore and Odin Sphere.
I made what?
Yeah, Vanillaware is just a tad obscure in North America. But I immensely enjoyed Odin Sphere, and when I heard they were making a new game for the Wii in Japanese feudal style, I was all over it. I really wanted to get this. But if you never heard of Vanillaware, why did you get this game?
The cover looked pretty.
Vanillaware is actually a studio that was founded by former Atlas employees, and despite being founded in 2002, didn't release the game until 2007 with Grim War and then Odin Sphere later that same year. In 2009, they released their third game we're here to talk about, Muramasa, the Demon Blade. There was also a game that was released only in Japan in 1997 for the Sega Saturn called Princess Crown, which is considered a spiritual predecessor to Odin Sphere. But that was made with the full members under Atlas at the time, so it technically doesn't count as a Vanillaware game. Still, for a developer that only made 3 games so far, it's clear that Vanillaware goes for quality over quantity.
Well?
Well, what?
Aren't you going to talk about the graphics?
Oh, they're good.
That's it?
What?
Dude, you can't review a game made by Vanillaware and not talk about the graphics in depth.
Alright, Sir Blonzelot. Why don't you talk about the graphics while I enjoy another roll of Smarties?
Freaking Smarties. Those aren't even Smarties, they're rockets.
The graphics in this game is simply astounding. The large and detailed 2D character sprites along with the layered backgrounds are really something to behold, especially when compared to conventional looking games. If you're among the 5 people along with me that played previous Vanillaware games, you'll notice that the art style is very similar to those. You could thank George Kamatani, as he was the art director in Grim War and Odin Sphere, and was the producer for Muramasa. He was also the art director in the aforementioned Princess Crown. Because of that, it's no question you can call this a distinct Vanillaware art style, and I can't wait to see what these talented artists come up with next in the future. The overall art theme throughout Muramasa is based off the Japanese mythology, and it couldn't be more inspiring. This game has a ton of style, but has the substance to justify it.
If you just look at some gameplay and realize that this game is on the Wii, you might be worried about how the game controls, particularly with the Wiimote and Nunchuck. Don't be. With the Wii Remote and Nunchuck setup, there are absolutely no motion-based controls, so the Wagglewary crowd has nothing to fear in that regard. The controls still take some getting used to, but there's a full tutorial at the beginning of the game to help learn with how everything works. Basic movement including jumping, double jumping, gliding, crouching, and rolling, as well as sword switching and using items and maps are all very straightforward. Combat sounds more complicated than it actually is though. Basic slash attacks are done by hitting A, and B uses the sword's secret art. A also deflects projectiles, and, when held down, parries enemy attacks. However, holding A and moving the control stick also performs various moving attacks, such as uppercuts, running slashes, and downward stabs. Ducking and holding A and then releasing A performs a drawn back slash, which causes the character to jump and flip forward with their blade outstretched. At times, using all these moves in tandem given the fast-paced combat system may seem like a giant clusterfuck, but when you get the hang of it, you can pull off some ridiculous combos that stretch into the 50s, 60s, 70s, or even into triple digits.
For the classic controller, you use the D-pad or left stick to move and jump, B to attack, A to pick up items or enter places, Y to do the secret arts, X to use selected items, the L button to switch blades, the R button to switch items, and the minus button to bring the map on screen. GameCube controls are similar, so you can use A to attack and Z for the map. If there's only one gripe I have with the controls, is that jumping is a tad too sensitive, even with the classic controller D-pad. But everything else is pretty smooth and responsive. Plus, if you played Odin Spear, you'll be pleased that the characters control and move very similarly, which is how I got used to the game pretty quickly.
Since I've already covered basic combat maneuvers under controls, I'll say that your experience in combat will largely depend upon two things. One is the set of swords you use. Each character can use 3 different swords in battle and change between them at will. Swords have many different stats, status effects, and appearances, but they can also be separated by one basic trait: their length. Long swords are stronger and have much more reach, but they're very slow to swing. Short swords have less reach and attack power, but are very fast. Ultimately, it comes down to personal preference for which is better and which sword you'll carry into a fight. The second deciding factor is what mode of play you'll choose at the beginning of the game. Actually, you can change the mode of play whenever you load or resume a game, but moving on. There are 2 modes to start with, Muso and Shura, whose names roughly translate to without equal and fighting, or carnage depending on the context. The shortest way to explain how these are different is to call them easy and normal, but there's a bit more to it than that. Under Muso, enemies take fewer hits to kill and don't hit as hard, which makes it easier to grind on encounters. As such, Muso's gameplay is focused more on leveling and sword production, and there's no one particularly strong strategy to taking on enemies. It allows for the most freedom in combat. On Shura, enemies hit harder and take more hits, making it more difficult to grind and encouraging a more action-adventure approach to the game, with less emphasis on leveling and money grubbing. As such, fights require more of an ability to read and dodge enemy attacks, as well as neutralize them, preferably 2 or 3 at a time by using a variety of attack styles, sword arts, always moving around on the screen, and abusing the draw attack from changing swords. See, if the display showing your swords is flashing, you'll perform a draw attack when changing swords that hits every enemy on the screen. This can be a lifesaver if you're ever feeling overwhelmed or in danger of dying, so be sure to keep an eye out for this when it's available. There's also a third difficulty that gets unlocked after beating the game on Shura called Shigarui, which, as far as I can tell, translates to something resembling Death Frenzy, assuming the name of the manga and the anime are right. It's appropriate if it's right, because in this mode, you only have 1 hit point the entire game. Beyond that, combat specifically takes place in either boss fights or random encounters. The latter is always preceded by an exclamation point appearing on screen, followed by the enemies appearing. I was worried that this design choice would lead to the game constantly speeding up and slowing down as it went in and out of combat, but with as fast as the characters can move through each area, the pacing of Muramasa is ultimately up to the player, which I find to be
very refreshing.
Personally, I played Muramasa on Shura,
While I played on Muso.
and I chose to play as Kisuke.
While I played as Momohime.
So you played as the girl on the easiest difficulty. Yeah, no, I'm not going to question that, because everyone else who watches this is going to do that for me.
Look, I didn't want to start off on the harder difficulty, and during the character selection, it doesn't show who the character is, it just shows the names.
What? Oh yeah, that's the internet. They're calling bullshit.
What? Oh, I get it. You're a spirit because you're dead. Great. Oh, wait a minute. I need you to help me with the review. Here. Okay. I need you to get back in his body ASAP, okay? I really need you to help me finish the review. Alright, fine. Well, since he's dead, I guess I might as well explain how dying works in this game.
Whenever you do die in the game, you'll simply restart the beginning of the area you died at as if nothing really happened. So it's not really a huge setback if you die.
What?
It's nothing. Let's just continue.
Alright.
After every battle, a victory window pops up. This is where you get a laundry list of stats showing the length of the fight, the money you earned, the base experience points earned, as well as performance-based experience bonuses for doing things like not taking damage, landing the first attack, defeating all enemies in a certain time frame, and yes, there's a rather large one for killing bosses. This offers a strong incentive to not just play the game, but learn to play it well so you can level up faster and gain access to more swords. Of course, it can also become frustrating when you're trying to, say, get the bonuses for ending a fight quickly or not taking damage, and the enemy keeps dodging and blocking and sneaking in cheap shots or simply refusing to die! Not good enough!
Souls are gained whenever you kill enemies, and you automatically get their green flame souls after their time of death. You can also find some floating about throughout the game to collect if you explore the areas thoroughly enough. Souls not only replenish your sword spirit energy, but you can use the accumulated souls and spirit to forge new swords with the actual spirit of Muramasa in this menu tree type system. Here you can make more powerful swords, all of which have different secret arts or upgraded previous arts. However, the more powerful the swords become, the more strength and vitality is required to use them. Also, some branches of swords can only be accessed after obtaining blades in the main story, essentially unlocking more swords that you can forge. Spirit is gained whenever you eat something, and the more fancy the food you eat, the more spirit you get. So even if you're at full health, it's still a good idea to eat food to gain spirit now and then, so you can have around as much spirit as you do souls. There are actually several ways to recover health in this game. There's eating food, both as an item or at a restaurant. There's also pellet items that replenish health but don't use the fullest meter or give you that much spirit. Leveling up replenishes health along with increasing it. And finally there's the hot springs. I guess I should explain why Momohime is naked at a hot spring and what they actually do, besides possible fan service. If you come across a monkey during your travels, it'll lead you to a hot spring where you'll completely heal your health and sword spirit, as well as control Kisuke or Momohime as they walk around almost completely naked. Well, do you bathe with your clothes on? You may also run into someone to talk to here, so be sure to check out the entire spring before leaving.
Aside from healing items, there's not much to talk about for other supplies. There are the typical items like herbal remedies and toad oil to cure status effects, mirrors to teleport you to the last shrine you visited, smoke bombs to escape non-boss battles, which I never used, and various stones to replenish soul power to swords, which is always nice to have in case a sword breaks, but other than that, there's not really a lot of variety. On the other hand, it's nice to have a few useful items available, instead of a metric crap ton of things I won't use, where when I get them I'll end up half-heartedly saying,
I don't know what it is, but I think it's wonderful.
There's a much bigger emphasis on found or bought ingredients like cabbage, rice bags, and tofu, because after getting some cookbook recipes from various shops scattered all over the map, they can be used to cook food. The downside to this is that you have to eat the food as soon as it's cooked, this isn't an option during battles, and it always makes you 100% full, but it usually heals far more hit points, always gives a lot of spirit, some recipes give temporary stat bonuses, and it displays each character's ability to eat a full meal in 4 or 5 bites. I'll admit, I'm jealous of their anime-esque metabolisms. Shops also sell accessories with their own stat boosts and status effects, though only one can be equipped at a time. Belts boost vitality, gauntlets boost strength, masks boost, for some reason, strength and vitality, while everything else gives different stat boosts like preventing poison, experience and money bonuses, and a number of rather specific effects that if I were to go over all of them, this video would be at least 4 minutes long. Oh no. Well, I had to get to these eventually. These are enemy lairs. Basically the carnival games of Muramasa.
No!
When you break the barrier and oh, right, there are barriers not just on these layers, but blocking several key routes in the game, which can only be broken when you have a strong enough sword to cut through them, usually attained by progressing in the story and or beating related bosses. When you enter one, it warns you what level you should be before going in, though it's not a requirement. Once you do, it describes what you have to fight. Usually it's either a boss fight, or fighting 100 of an enemy you've encountered elsewhere, which was relatively easy to kill. But they're not so easy in 10 waves of 10 where you can't cook or change equipment in between. They can take a long time to finish, but completing these is good not only for the experience and money, but also because it yields special items or even some special swords. My one complaint with this is that the only way to figure out what item you'll get by beating an enemy lair is to beat the enemy lair, making it difficult to strategize which lairs, if any, you'll actually want to enter.
The music is nicely composed, but that's actually no surprise considering the music in this game was done by 7 composers. The top credit composers being Hitoshi Sakimoto and Masahiro Iwata, who also worked on the music for the older Battle games, Final Fantasy Tactic games, and the previous Middleware games, just to name some. Both of them even worked on the music for the first Bloody War game, and Masahiro worked on Bloody War 2.
Oh, you're right, they composed the arcade music for those games.
I knew that would catch your attention. All these composers did a really good job to match the music along with its setting and art style.
So overall, the music is very well done, and what are you...
Air violin. What, you never played?
No, but...
What about air shakuhachi?
As for general sound design, it's good too. There's the appropriate sword noises, slashes, and the death cries, the usual stuff you come to expect.
And then there's the voice acting. If you've watched more than one subtitled anime in your life, you'll probably pick up on most of the stereotypical voices, such as gravelly voiced old but not too old guy, evil deep voice number 3, big pseudo fat guy voice. Thankfully, there is one stereotype that this game largely manages to avoid, and that is having girl voices that are way too high-pitched. The acting is still solid all around, and no, there's no English voice option in this game. Frankly, I'm glad there isn't, because in a game this steeped in the mythos, history, and culture of Japan, English voices would kinda clash with that. Reading a few subtitles isn't going to kill you either, and it doesn't hurt this game's presentation to a Western audience.
Well, sorry.
What?
I tried.
And now we finally get to our heroes. Kisuke is a ninja well-versed in the Oboro style of sword fighting who finds himself being chased by a group of ninjas. They want to kill him for betraying them, but he can't remember what the hell they're talking about because, here's something that's never been done 100 times before in video games, he has amnesia!
Honestly, amnesia? I've seen this as a plot device way too many times in games.
How many times?
I can't remember.
After fighting off the ninjas, he's approached by a kitsune named Yuzuruha, who says she watched the battle and is bound by oath to support sword makers just as her master Inari Myojin did before her. Side note, Inari Myojin is the Shinto deity of agriculture. She says she supports sword makers and needs Kisuke to help her with her goal, even though Kisuke is a ninja and not a sword maker. She asks that any souls attained using the sword she gives him be given to her so that new demon blades can be forged with them. It turns out that she and some other foxes that follow her are working with the spirit of Muramasa, a legendary swordsmith whose blades were thought to thirst for blood when they were drawn, to the point where it drove the wielder to commit murder or even suicide. Thus why the weapons are referred to as demon blades, and why the swords are only drawn during battles. Once agreeing to this out-of-nowhere pledge for fox people to take the souls of the dozens of people and animals he's killed so a ghost can make swords for him, he heads to Skull Valley, since the ninjas apparently came from there. At Ninja HQ, they reveal the identity of the 6 skulls hanging from Kisuke's waist. Wait, did Kisuke just not care that a bunch of human skulls were dangling from his ass this whole time? Either way, he eventually meets the gang's leader and his old boss, Yukinojo Yagyu. Unfortunately, the barrier Kisuke broke to get here was holding back several ghosts from attacking the castle in the form of giant centipedes? Oh dear Christ, kill them! Kill them with fire! I mean swords!
I mean swords with fire attacks! Just kill them!
The ninjas still don't trust Kisuke, despite his saving them from being eaten by giant centipedes, but Yukinojo says he'll pardon him if he kidnaps Torahime, the daughter of a Japanese lord who is hiding out in the mountains. As it turns out, Torahime is from the castle Kisuke attacked with a group of ninjas to steal a certain blade. What blade was it? What's the connection between Torahime and Kisuke beyond kidnapping and or raiding her home? How did Kisuke really lose his memory?
Elevino.
No, seriously, I'm not telling you. You want to find out what happens? Play the game.
Momohime's story, on the other hand, has a different setup. Momohime is actually a princess whose body is accidentally taken over by Jinkuru Izana, the spirit of an asshole swordsman who was originally going to take over the body of the swordmaster Yukinojo Yagyu for his plans. Because of this setback, Jinkuru and the spirit of Momohime set off to try and search for a way to undo this mistake, and collect swords along the way as well. Jinkuru also gets the aid of a bustier Kitsune, I can't believe I just said that name, Kanjiku, who serves the same purpose as Yuzura does for Kisuke. Throughout the game, Momohime will sometimes temporarily regain her body during the story, but during the main actual gameplay, you'll be controlling badass Jinkuru possessed in Momohime. Though sometimes you do actually control normal Momohime in some dialogue sequences and while in hot springs.
Muramasa the Demon Blade is not just a must-play for the Wii, it's a must-own for the Wii. With the amount of care that went into the art style, the musical score, the gameplay engine, if you do not get this amazing Wii game, you are stupid. Yes, I know, that's insulting, but it's also true.
So yeah, we both really enjoyed this game, and you should definitely check this out if you have a Wii.
Yeah, there's just one small problem with this, though. None of you bought it!
Okay, just take it.
No. Only like 50,000 people in North America actually bought this game. You people are sheep!
It's not their fault, man. It's just the North American market. Anyway, this is Blondeguygamer, and
SCXCR.
thank you for watching our
What the... Wait, that's not a ninja sword.
Okay, fine, if you want to be accurate.
What the... Where the hell did that come from?
eBay.
Oh, okay.
No! That's your man. Don't worry. Everything will be alright.
Blondie,
Yeah?
tell me about Santa Claus.
Santa Claus? What do you mean?
In Palace.
Oh, that version. Yeah. Okay, man. Oh, man. He lives in the Crystal Palace. Out in outer space. He has a bunch of slaves from all over the world and horrible racial stereotypes. He checks up on the kids all over the world with his giant telescope ear thing. And... Dude. No!
Hey, what I missed?
Ah! What? How? Who? Huh?
That was, one of my clones.
Clone? Why do you have clones? And come to think of it, if that's your clone, was that the reason why he was doing that weird music thing in the beginning with his mouth? And wait. And if he died again, how come he didn't become a spirit like just a while ago?
Well, you see, there's actually a good reason for that. You see, when I first made the clone...
If you never heard of Vanillaware, why did you get this game?
The cover looked pretty.
You're fired.
Can't fire me, I live here.
I know. That's what editing's for.
Yay! Great, I recorded that.
So overall, the why did I say graphics? Fuck. I'm getting sketches mixed up. Well, okay. Anyway. I blinked out.
God damn it.
I was about to say, thank you for watching.
Honestly, Amnesia, I've seen this as a...
good?
Yeah.
Go.
It's okay, it was Bloody Roar 4.
Oh shit, I am damaging this.
Why do you care?
Yeah, good point.
There's a bunch of slave with racial stereotypes everywhere. And I don't remember what else there is from the movie.
Our waitress is the most beautiful girl I've ever seen.